Hi Yolanda and welcome. Today I am doing another collab video. I'm collabing with a lot of the same ladies I collabed with during the My Go-To Brand collaboration. If you missed that video, no worries. I will link it right here for your viewing pleasure. But we have some other ladies that have joined us this time around. And if Editing Lynette knows how to put their channels up here, I will list all of the ladies' channels here. But they will also all be linked down below. This collaboration, Pretty in Pastels, a spring collaboration, was the brainchild of Monique's Makeup, Monique here on YouTube. Because when you watch this, when I post this video, it will be the first day of spring, and what better way to usher in spring than with a nice, fresh, pretty pastel eye look and makeup look. So that's what we did today, and this collaboration came right on time because it gave me a great opportunity to try one of the new palettes in my collection. It is from Playing in Makeup by Yolondo, and it is the Jamrock Colored Wasichana Pastel palette. Now, you saw this palette in a haul video, and well, today's my second time using it. I did try to film this video yesterday and it didn't go well. More on that afterwards. But here is the palette. It does have a big old mirror, and then it has all of these eyeshadows. Is it like 30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28 eyeshadows in this palette, and it is truly a pastel palette. Now, you do have some shadows that are a little bit brighter, not so much pastel, more like bright, but I'm not mad at that because I think for me it's difficult. It would be difficult to do an entirely pastel look, so I did use like one of those brighter, more heavy-duty shadows on my outer V, just to kind of break it up a little bit. But for the most part, this is a pastel palette. It has mostly mattes, majority mattes, but it does have some shimmers. And just like the other palette that I have from this brand, the Jamrock No Limitations palette, the shimmer metallic shadows in here are of different formulas. So you have some that are really, really pigmented, like this one, and really shimmery and metallic, and then you have others that are thin, more like topper shades, and then you have a couple of satins as well. So this palette runs the whole gamut of eyeshadow formulas, and yeah, I used it to create this look. I did add in a couple of singles, one from Cleona Cosmetics and one from Divina Cosmetics, and you will see why once you watch the tutorial. So if you're interested in knowing my thoughts about this palette, and I have a few now that I've used it twice, stick around for after the tutorial and I will share my thoughts about this palette and whether or not I think you might want to add it to your collection. If you'd like to see how I created this look using the Playing in Makeup by Yolanda Jamrock Colored Wasichana Pastel palette, then keep on watching. And this is the finished look. I use my Inglot number 77 gel liner to do the liner in the wing. And these are the House of Lashes times Sephora lashes in the style Amethyst. And for the lips, I used my MAC Plum lip liner with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Moon Jelly Lip Gloss. So I thought I would keep it, or try to keep it kind of light on the lips, since I was trying to create a light soft, not so much light, but soft pastel look. So this look did change as I went on with the palette. Let's talk about this palette, shall we? So I had a pink look, a monochromatic pink look, all mapped out. But then as I started using the shadows, that changed. Now, full disclosure, I tried to film this video yesterday using this palette. I used different shadows. I used the green shimmer and paired it with the same purple matte, and some other shadows, similar shadows, and I hated the look. It was a fail. Not because of the palette, but just, I don't know, I always think purple and green go well together until I put them together, and then it just, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So this is my second time using the palette, and I haven't used a lot of the shades because, you know, there are a lot in here, but I can say with certainty that I really like the matte shadows in this palette. And thankfully, this palette is made up mostly of matte shadows. It truly is a pastel palette. Now, there are some shadows in here like this purple that I used on the outer corner. And then there's this really bright pink. Let me show you. There's really bright pink. Look at that. So there are like maybe 2, 3 shadows in here that, you know, are a little more on the bright side than they are the pastel side, which I'm not mad at. Look at that. I'm not mad at that because I think I don't want to say it's hard to do an all pastel look, but I feel like you kind of need something maybe with a little more oomph to pull off an all pastel look. Or maybe that's just my preference. I don't know. I need to have a little something in the outer V to kind of give it a little more contrast. But yeah, I really liked the matte shadows. Just like with the other palette that I have, the one other palette that I have from this brand, the No Limitations Jamrock palette, I like the mattes in there too. They're pigmented. These shadows are pigmented, but they're pastel, and they showed up soft and pastel on my eye on top of that white base. So the white base, I think, definitely helped keep these shadows true to color. But I think they would still show up on my deeper skin tone without a white base. I haven't tried it yet, but I think so. I mean, in having experienced her other matte shadows in the other palette, they're pigmented. These were pigmented, and I really like that. I'm really impressed by the fact that I now have a pastel eyeshadow palette that I can actually use that will show up on my skin. So I really like that. Now the shimmers, just like the shimmers in the other palette that I have, I don't like. I like these even less than the ones in the No Limitations palette. You saw in the tutorial where I tried to use this lavender shimmer, and then I tried to use this satin, because the lavender shimmer, which is this shade right here, Caitlin, I mean, you'll see from the swatch that it's just really thin. They're very pretty, but really thin. This is the satin shade, and this is the shimmer shade. And in the swatches, the satin shade just seemed like it had a lot more oomph to it, but in trying to use it, it was terrible. So this is the shimmer shade, and that's the satin shade. And I didn't initially even go in with the shimmer shade because see how it's so thin, and it actually looks more like white than it does pink. It looks more pink in the pan, and then when I swatch it, it looks more like really a diluted lavender. And then the satin shade looks really pretty, soft pink, but then when I tried to use it, it's so powdery, so thin, so powdery. There was a lot of kick up on the pan. I got a lot of extra shadow on my lid, and with every shadow I tapped off my brush because they are pigmented and some of them are more powdery than others, and it was awful. And the shimmer shade just so I ended up putting the shimmer shade on top, and then just still, and the shimmer actually looked like, once I put it on the lid, it looked like it might have had a little duochromosity to it, but just so, and a lot of fallout and kick up. You saw all the fallout in my face. I don't know if you can see, probably not from the distance, but the kick up in the pan, and just ew. And even though I used them wet, it was still just ew. So didn't like that at all. The only shimmer in here that looks halfway like it will do something is this one right here, Tiara, which is absolutely, oh, see, look at that. But that's the only shimmer shade that's like that in this palette. There's another one, Shawnee's, but again, that same thin topper-esque type formula. And yeah, I really hated the shimmers in this palette. When I was looking to maybe change the colors, because I did the green yesterday, and maybe change the colors and use some of these like peaches and corals, and again, like, this is another one of those satin shades, just blah. And I don't know if they're more blah in this palette because it's a pastel palette, or just the formula is just not good. I don't know, but if you were thinking about this palette, I'm just letting you know right now, in my opinion, the shimmers suck, except for this one, except for that beautiful one that I can't wait to use. The others sucks. But if you are someone who's looking for a really pretty, truly pastel palette, and you're a woman of color and you have a deeper skin tone, I think this palette is it. I am very happy, despite the shimmers in this palette. I'm very happy to have it in my collection because it's really the only pastel palette that I have that actually shows up on my skin. And then I reached into a Divina single and a Clionadh Cosmetics single. If you have been following me on Instagram, you know I've been using and loving those Clionadh eyeshadows, and yeah, they helped me out today. Both of those from Divina and Clionadh helped me out today. So at the end of the day, I like the look. I changed it up, but I like the outcome. I like how it turned out. Let me know below if you like how it turned out. And please, once you're done watching my video, please go and check out all the other ladies' channels who are linked below. Watch their videos and see what pretty and pastels spring look they did. If you liked this video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I do makeup hauls, swatches, reviews, and tutorials every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.